Story 1. I just haven't found somebody who is willing to give the same energy back that I give. I am also not looking to just settle. It has to be a definite yes. Story 2. I never put myself out there. I really enjoy all my free time because I get to do whatever I want, whenever I want. Story 3. I am cool on my own. I have been disappointed enough. It will take a really amazing person for me to choose her over the peace of my solitude. Story 4. I am still working on my financial situation, and I feel that I do not have enough emotional energy to be with someone at this time. Story 5. I was left by someone I loved very much 2 years ago. He is getting married soon to the person he left me for. She is much younger and more attractive than I am. I have not gotten over it. I have not met anyone I am attracted to or feel a connection with. I have not really tried either. I just feel too ugly and worthless for any man to love. Story 6. My wife told me that she was a lesbian a few months ago and left me for a female coworker. She moved out, but we have not started any paperwork yet. We will probably be divorced by the end of the year. Story 7. I met a man with low self-confidence. I fell in love with his soul and lifted him up. This gave him self-confidence, which made him believe he could find a better woman, so he left me. This has repeated for decades with multiple men. I got tired. Now, I am focusing on accepting that I may never be in a relationship again. Story 8. I love being single. I can do what I want when I want and never have to answer to anybody. I see so many toxic relationships around me that I am more than happy to never date or get into a relationship again. Story 9. Half a red flag and I'm gone. I've been single too long, so I got comfortable with my peace, and it's stopping me from accepting women, flaws and all. I also struggle with communicating and just hate the whole social media and texting all the time. I'm a great guy in person but unavailable when it comes to my phone. Story 10. I do not really have friends, or at least not the kind with a good social circle around them, which makes meeting women difficult. I have to stay in the moment, be the best version of myself, and remain open to anything that might come my way. This could include opportunities to make friends, which will broaden my horizons, or finding someone to date. Story 11. I am trying to work on myself first because I keep self-sabotaging. My mind will not stop telling me I am disgusting and unworthy, even when I am being reassured. Story 12. Because I do not try, my life is simple. Wake up, work, sleep, rinse and repeat. Add in some gym and sport. Late 20s living abroad. Do not think I am bad looking or something, but that is my life. Story 13. Life is really stressful, complicated, and confusing. I am scared of letting more people into my life to avoid making it even more stressful, complicated, and confusing. It is not difficult to understand because if I wanted to be married, I would be a great wife by now, but it is not the right time yet. Story 14. There are many reasons, and it is not for lack of trying. I feel like I missed the last helicopter out of Vietnam by a lot. Story 15. Not so much a fear of rejection, as awkward and painful as that would be. I grew up in an environment that made me feel embarrassed about such feelings. I see an attractive woman and already assume nothing will happen unless we talk. If we do end up talking, it is rarely because I initiated it. Every time, nothing happens because I avoid saying anything that implies I am interested. The reason is I get the feeling that if anyone finds out, I will be ridiculed. Those were the kinds of peers I had growing up. Story 16. I go on many dates searching for someone with whom I really connect, but if I do, it is not mutual. I think the biggest problem I have is that nobody wants to put any energy into dating these days when meeting people on the apps. The lack of communication, the ghosting, people dating 2 or 3 others at the same time, and the lack of effort, it is getting pretty exhausting. You also have to balance a fine line between not revealing too much of yourself and bringing excitement during the first few dates because it scares off many people. In summary, it is difficult out there. Story 17. I do not want children. Most men in my country do not understand this and think I will change my mind, especially when they see me interacting with children. I like children and love my nieces and nephews, but I do not want children of my own. Story 18. I have only been single again for 3 weeks. While I do wish I had some companionship, I am focusing on myself for the foreseeable future. Story 19. I am in my late 30s, and men my age still do not know what they are looking for, are emotionally unavailable, or have just left a long-term relationship and want something casual. Take your pick. It also does not help that I live in the Pacific Northwest and the ethical non-monogamy scene is huge out here, which I am absolutely not into. Rest in peace. I have spent a lot of time working on myself and am looking for someone who is ready and has done their own healing. I am not looking for someone perfect. I just want to find someone I vibe with, and it is easy to have a conversation with them. Story 20. I am 25, never dated, and have no personal social media presence. I am already a walking red flag. Despite what people say about hooking up and casual sex, I know myself well enough to understand that it is not what I want. I get attached too easily. Love is a healing agent for the soul, and mine has been hurting for too long. Women my age are either already taken, single with children, or not emotionally available. There is no room for a single man with little experience. Now is not the right time. I plan to enlist soon, so it would be a terrible time to meet anyone. The recent woman I met was a reason I wanted to stay. Now, she has become another reason I want to leave. Story 21. Financial and mental health reasons. It is very hard to get and keep a girlfriend when you are broke, autistic, and bipolar. Story 22. I'm too introverted. I've been told that I shouldn't have this much trouble finding a girlfriend due to things such as my height. I'm 6 feet 3 inches, but I'm just too shy around women. This is probably due to my toxic upbringing during childhood, which caused me to become more reserved and less willing to take risks. I'm turning 30 this year, and as time goes on, I am becoming more accepting of it all. The good news is that I finally moved out of my parents' house a couple of months ago, something I've been trying to do since I finished college. So maybe there's still hope for me, but I'm not getting my hopes up. Dating is just a mess now, to the point where it might be too late for me anyway. Story 23. Because I am too busy enjoying my life, I do not have time or space for another person. I am focused on spoiling myself and living for myself, with nothing left for someone else. Besides, why would I? Another person would not improve my life in the slightest. Being single is wonderful. I would have to be brain dead to give up this freedom and joy. Story 24. I am struggling with mental illness, and I do not want to hurt anyone because that would be very selfish. Story 25. I do not think the majority of people consider the fact that not everyone finds love, and I do not want to be one of those who deny it and end up more miserable than those who did not. We are all alone in a relationship we're not. It is just reality. Story 26. Because I had a long and difficult marriage, I prefer to be single. I really like it and probably should not have been married to begin with. I love my peace and freedom and have not yet met a man who can even come close to that. Story 27. Was off the market for about 15 years and recently entered the dating app scene. It's like I'm in a different galaxy compared to when I was last single. Optimizing my profile, constantly scrolling, and responding to prompts as if it were a job interview. Going on dates where girls already seem disinterested, or dates that go really well but the girl chooses someone else. It literally feels like applying for a job. Where do people even meet organically anymore? Story 28. I have not found anyone whose company improves my life more than the peace I have gained since my divorce. Story 29. My anxiety disorder has made it difficult to make friends in general, let alone find a partner. While I am now taking medication for my anxiety, I am also in my mid to late 30s and I am not supposed to drink alcohol while on this medicine. Most people in my area get married in their 20s, so there are not many options left. I do not like dating sites or pre-medication apps. I tried them and they just stressed me out. I also do not feel as strong a need to be in a relationship as some people, so I am not putting much effort into finding someone. I honestly want friends to do activities with more than I want a partner, but I have never really found my people in real life. Story 30. Fell in love with my best friend. We got really close. He started telling me things like, I've never sung in front of anyone before. Can I sing for you? When you compliment me, compliments feel good for the first time in my life because they're coming from you. I read the birthday card you wrote for me. It's the first time in my life that it felt good to read a birthday card. For the first time in my life, the idea of living with someone else instead of living alone feels good because it would be you. It couldn't be anyone else. Our friendship doesn't feel like any other friendship I've ever had. I'm not sure what that means for me yet, but we can see where it goes. I think a romantic relationship would be really nice, actually. For the first time in my life, I feel comfortable talking about and considering dating someone because it would be you. A few days after that last one, he went into a trauma spiral and has now convinced himself that he is straight. We are both men. It is abundantly clear that he is not straight. I believe him when he says he's attracted to women, but it seems obvious that he is bisexual. I have noticed him check me out a lot, check other men out, and make comments about men's bodies. He tells me about his favorite gay adult artists and the parts of men's bodies that he is most attracted to. I asked him what he is most into, and he pretty much just described me, though I don't think he realized it. He has a lot of trauma and post-traumatic stress disorder from his childhood and genuinely does not remember saying most of the above things to me. I love him very much. I would give him the whole world if I could. Saying all that to me, then telling me he feels really afraid and confused, that would have been okay. It is okay if he doesn't know or isn't sure right now, but he has been saying that none of it meant anything, that he didn't mean it, that the parts of him that said those things to me aren't real, and that he would be fine if he never saw me again. And it is breaking me. It is painful even to just be around him now, especially in a group setting, where he talks about how much he loves romance and wishes he had a sweet and sincere relationship. And I am right here. I asked him if it is true that being around me makes him feel pressured to do things he doesn't like, such as acting emotionally intimate with me. Then am I bad for him? He told me his therapist said he shouldn't really see me much anymore and that we should take space. It hurts so much. I love him so much. It seems obvious that he loves me too, but his trauma is shutting it down. I wish I could do anything for him, anything that could help. He is the best person I have ever known. I love him so much. I hope we can reconnect. But I am scared that talking about dating pushed him away. I am scared we'll never go back to the closeness we had. I am scared that I've lost him. And I am scared that I failed him by seeking clarity too soon. I have never felt more seen and understood than I did with him. I hope we don't stay apart like this forever. I miss him very much. Story 31. I don't feel like I can be present in the relationship and give the other person the attention needed to establish a connection right now. I am working on my master's degree while working full-time. I feel like I don't even have time to work out, but prioritizing that will leave me with almost no time for a relationship. I also need to focus on tackling some debt and moving out of my parents' home before I feel ready to date. I am pretty content right now by myself. I like my space and peace. Story 32. I have been single for so long that the thought of asking someone out is terrifying, and I would rather not risk rejection. Story 33. I would rather die alone than ever settle. I have been on 2 dates in over a year and a half. I am selective with who gets my time and energy. I have spent the last 2 years disengaging from men and focusing on cultivating loving relationships with my friends. I feel fulfilled regardless of my relationship status. Story 34. I have yet to meet the person who will give me the kind of love I deserve and accept the kind of love and care I have to offer. Story 35. My brain is unable to properly regulate the chemicals that control my negative emotions, which leaves me unable to be outgoing in the ways that men are traditionally expected to be in this society if they want to get a girlfriend. Story 36. Because I don't know how to be. I don't know how to start things in progress. I'm serious. I feel like there was 1 week in health class where they covered the basics of human courtship, but I had the flu and missed that whole week. I came to school and everyone seemed to have some idea of what to do. Then in college, they seemed decent at it, and now they all have families. And I'm just here by myself with not a whole lot going for me. Decent job, I'm not hideous. I just have no idea what I'm doing when it comes to this. Story 37. Dating apps are frustrating and real life is challenging too, which is kind of sad because I am a man who wants to have a genuine connection. Trust me, I have tried all the advice available. I really want a relationship to make someone feel special and loved, but despite all my attempts, I have had no success. They say love comes when you least expect it. I guess I am holding on to that hope. All I get are hookups, and I am over that, so being single it is. It's not so bad, but I do miss coming home to someone I can spoil with affection. Yes, this may seem needy and awkward. Being single for a long time is difficult if you do not want it to be. Story 38. After my last relationship, I realized I had spent most of my 20s in serious relationships trying to build lives with men who were not the right fit for me. I forgot what it was like to enjoy my own company and not be searching for the next person who could be the one. I wanted to challenge myself to find peace and contentment alone before dating again. So here I am doing exactly that. Story 39. I am 31 years old. Everyone who is single at this age, including me, wants peace. I do not know if I really want a relationship. I occasionally go on dates but lose interest after the second or third date. Story 40. I saw this cheesy Facebook post as an image with words. The body wants sex. The heart wants love. The soul wants peace. For me, the soul just wins more often than the others. It is tired. Story 41. Never tried to the point where it is all I know. I always want to go up and talk to someone, but it never happens, so I just stay the same. Story 42. My last partner tried to kill my mother and me. Insufficient evidence meant he walked away with no consequences. I am still terrified. Story 43. I decided to take some time to work on myself. Why? I read about how you attract the type of energy you are putting out. I was not satisfied with the quality of the last 2 women I dated, and that made me realize I might be putting out the wrong energy. Now I want to see if I can elevate myself and develop personally, and observe the difference it makes. Story 44. I have no people in my life due to recently escaping my family who kept me illegally socially isolated for 5 years, and my best friend was killed. I do not even have friends. Story 45. The love of my life cheated on me and left me for her. It has only been a couple of weeks. I have no desire to pursue anything romantic again at my age. Story 46. My soulmate died on August 24, 2019. He was driving under the influence of alcohol. I cannot imagine sharing my life with anyone else. Story 47. I never developed social skills as a child because I was socially awkward and feared social interaction. Due to my lack of experience, I struggled to speak without stuttering and had difficulty forming coherent sentences. I found it hard to make friends, let alone a romantic partner. Story 48. I would like to be friends and get to know a man before having sex and entering a relationship, but apparently nowadays it does not work like that. It is surprising how this generation is willing to put their health at risk by sleeping with complete strangers. Story 49. Not trying. While I love the idea of a long, happy marriage with children, I hate the dating process. Sadly, I cannot have one without the other. Occasionally, I put in some effort, then get tired again. Story 50. Too overweight, too unemployed, too unintelligent, too shy, too broke, too uninteresting, too homeless, too naive, and most of all, too frustrated with foolish people. Story 51. Because I am struggling mentally, physically, and spiritually, and no one wants me. I do not blame them either. Story 52. I guess I am not worth it. Too tired and old for inconsistency and emotional unavailability. I also believe the one for me will not make things so exhausting and confusing that I start questioning myself. Story 53. I am evidently no longer attractive since I got sober and stopped being an alcoholic menace. It is definitely a strange thing to have to accept. Story 54. As a straight woman, being single is less work. I know not all men are lazy, but I am so tired of putting in 100% while many can barely plan a decent date or remember we had plans. I will be damned if I ever live with a man again and have to clean up after him. No thanks. Story 55. I got separated from my recent romantic partner by circumstances. I am still recovering and healing from this experience. However, I do not want to engage with the current dating scene and prefer to focus on myself. Story 56. My first boyfriend was a hot mess. He was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder and depression, then refused to take his medication. I told him he had to take his medication or I would leave him, and then all hell broke loose. It was the messiest breakup ever. My second boyfriend was a wonderful guy, and I loved him and wanted to marry him, but he could not have a long-term relationship with me because his parents wanted him to marry a wealthy Indian woman of the Brahmin caste and move back to Delhi. I did not want to deal with in-laws who would strongly object to me. My third boyfriend started out great and proposed after 2 years. Then he did nothing to help me plan the wedding. No ring, no date set, and he would not look at reception sites. During the pandemic, he had some kind of existential crisis where he was feeling his own mortality and wanted me to have his child immediately. I did not want to, so I broke up with him. After all that, I have been single by choice for years now, and it is great. Story 57. My ex left me a month ago. It was my first relationship, and it has caused me serious damage. I do not think I will find another one. I loved this girl with everything I had, but it was not enough. She showed me that I am not going to be enough as I am for anyone. Story 58. I am single because I do not want to be in a toxic relationship again. It is not worth it. I will just love myself. Story 59. By choice, I took a long time to work on making myself happy and now do not see value in giving that happiness up. Story 60. It is difficult to find someone around my age who does not want to have more children or get married. Story 61. I just don't connect with people right away. By the time I feel like, hey, this person is really cool and I would like to spend more time getting to know them, they have already stopped talking to me and moved on to someone else. It's fine. I have my cats, my video games, my cactus collection, and I'm writing a comic book and learning how to draw. Those take up most of my time when I'm not working. Story 62. I do not want to justify myself, but I believe that I do not have a relationship because of my psychological problems. I have schizoid personality disorder and paranoia. Because of this, I cannot open up and confide in anyone. I feel danger all the time, even from people close to me. I think that is what prevents me from having a relationship. Story 63. Every partner I have had in my adult life has lied, cheated on, and betrayed me. Additionally, my depression makes me an extremely difficult person to live with, and I do not want to be a burden. Essentially, I do not trust myself or any women enough to be in a relationship anymore. Story 64. Too many emotional ego trips to deal with these days. Dating has drastically changed in the last decade. Story 65. I swore an oath to myself that I would not enter the dating scene while still living with my parents. I do not know why, but the idea is just absolutely humiliating to me. Story 66. Because I was not the one for her, and it took me a while to realize that. But I do, and I am better for it. I broke the cycle and have found peace in that. I am not ready to look again and probably will not be for a while, which I have also realized is not a bad thing at all. Story 67. I focused on making it through school and then on my career. I always told myself there would be time, but at this point I am 37 and uncertain if I would just end up projecting my problems onto a partner. Story 68. 1. I am not where I want to be in life and do not feel like I would be a good partner. I was a bad partner in my previous relationship 5 years ago. I was clingy, insecure, jealous, and had poor communication. I do not want to fall into those same patterns again. I have not dated in 5 years and do not really know how to do it anymore. Story 69. I am built for deep devotion, and all the people I have been meeting here want to keep things casual. I tried that, but it is not for me, so I would rather be single. Story 70. I do not see the appeal. I have always been perfectly happy on my own. Feels like a blessing. I know most people are not capable of feeling that way. Story 71. 34 here. My free time and freedom are priceless. I am not sure how I feel about having children in the current world. Dating is usually a prerequisite for starting a family. Story 72. I just don't want to deal with anyone. Being a straight woman is difficult. I feel like we end up having to care for our partners, and that is not my style. Story 73. Not easy to find a man over 30, child-free by choice, honest, emotionally available, trustworthy, and seeking a long-term partner. Story 74. Because unfortunately I am attracted to men, and while I am aware that there must be some good men, I have never had the pleasure of meeting one. It is my view that good men are very hard to find. I am done sorting through the unpleasant people in hopes of randomly finding a nice one. I am very happy as I am. My peace is too precious to risk. Story 75. The downside of these types of threads is that you will inevitably receive unsolicited generic advice that is unhelpful. Story 76. I have no confidence left in myself. I do not understand why anyone would want to spend their life with me. Story 77. I have no personality. While people can find me pleasant, they often get bored of me. Some people even find my quietness unpleasant. I am difficult to make conversation with. I have things to talk about but lack the speaking skills to actually discuss them. I have autism, which I believe is the underlying cause of this problem. I wish I were confident and charming, but I am just shy and quiet. I have noticed that men enjoy women with personalities, even if they are rude, mean, or arrogant. I am never going to be anyone's cup of tea when I am as plain as water. Story 78. I'm truly living and enjoying my life to the fullest right now. If or when I meet someone who can add to my life, I will consider a relationship. Until then, I will continue to be as happy as possible with myself. Story 79. Because I am not so afraid of being single that I am willing to settle for the first person who comes along. Story 80. Because I am not looking for a romantic relationship or anything. I just want to keep things casual, you know? Maybe we could just meet up. Go away with all that. Casual hookup culture makes me nauseous. Story 81. My last relationship was great and we got along very well. We liked almost all the same things. Music, food, traveling, and so on. I feel like I had something that most people do not get to experience even once in their lives, and I am grateful for that. However, sometimes love just is not enough. I am not jaded in any way, but I find it hard to believe I will find anyone who clicks like we did again. I am definitely open to it, but it seems like slim pickings these days, which makes it even harder to find someone on the same wavelength. Story 82. I divorced 7 years ago and have not dated since. Whenever I think about trying again, I just remember the drama and difficulties that I do not want to deal with. Story 83. Because most people lack basic qualities and manners, and in the name of compromise have nothing at all, you can see AITJ posts a single mistake by one partner and then shares it with the whole world to reveal what is happening between two individuals who were meant to resolve things on their own. There is no privacy and much vulgarity in people. I am not saying all are like that, but most are. Nowadays, relationships have become more like a 50-50 division of chores that individuals do rather than being based on love, compromise, understanding the other person's point of view, and the bond people used to share. The most important issue is that people have lost respect and sympathy for each other. Because of many cheating cases, everyone has developed trust issues with the person they are in love with. The word love has lost its true meaning at this time, I guess. Now, people simply do chores and live together either for sharing expenses or for physical needs. This is just an opinion, so do not get mad. I could be wrong, and maybe for you things are different. Also, I am not glorifying relationships of the 19th or earlier centuries. Story 84. The women I was interested in wanted to have children. I did not. That affected several potential relationships in my 30s and 40s. I still have not aged out of that entirely, but at 50, I imagine women will stop asking me at some point. I am a kind weirdo. I do my own thing and do not necessarily match up with the vast majority of women. I also acted poorly toward people at times while trying to figure out how to be with women. I regret that. I was very dumb and confused. I had 2 relationships in the last 3 years, and I really loved both of them. I think I approached the first one with a lot of immaturity, but the woman was also very angry about many things, which was very reasonable given what was happening in her life at the time. She was not very kind to me, and I did not really have the space to grow. I also really loved the last one. She was unstable, though. She kept asking me when we were going to have a child, and I told her repeatedly that I absolutely did not want one. She was lovely in many ways, but totally unable to have a conversation about anything important without immediately crying and screaming. She lied a lot, too. It was bizarre. Ultimately, I have not found someone I wanted to spend my life with who also wanted to spend their life with me, and with whom we communicated well enough to make it work. It makes me sad, but I have had the opportunity to be with people and to get married, probably. I knew it would be bad, and I saved both of us the trauma. I do not regret that at all. Story 85. I honestly do not care enough to look for a partner. I have a low social energy level, and I do not think I am in a place where I could be a good partner to anyone at the moment. Story 86. I am busy between kids, college, and work. My ex-husband left me with some emotional scars and full custody of our kids by his choice that need to heal before I can be a healthy partner. Additionally, I really enjoy owning all of my free time and not feeling obligated to another adult. So, for now, this is peace. I have done some casual dating, but I am not looking to settle down. Maybe someday. Story 87. Because she broke up with me, good for her. I have too many mental health issues that plague my soul. Story 88. I love being single. I am 55 and was married for 25 years, 20 of them happy. I dated off and on and realized I want to do what I want to do. My kids are grown now, age 30 and 22, and we are very close. I have a roommate who is great and works different hours than I do, so I am alone but never lonely. I make all my own decisions about my finances, my vacations, and everything else. I love my simple life with no arguments or stress from trying to always please someone else. My time is my own, and I absolutely love it. Story 89. I am tired of relationship drama. At this point, I would probably end up in jail if these men tried to pull the behavior I have had to deal with in the past. Story 90. Have you not met people? I have met people. I no longer wish to meet people, because I have met people. Story 91. I am financially stable, have good hobbies, a social circle, and a good relationship with my family. I have a peaceful life. I am child-free. I have reached a point in life where I need a strong reason to be in a relationship. I also like alone time, and I am not afraid of being alone. Story 92. I deleted all my social media years ago. I want to find a girl organically out in the wild. It is harder than you think. Story 93. I have never had a positive experience with men. Almost none of them seem to know about the clitoris or understand how to respond to it. Given the risks, it does not seem worth continuing to try. Story 94. My wife passed away about 2 years ago from cancer. I just do not have the energy to start a new relationship. Story 95. I have many mental and physical health issues that prevent me from being content with myself, whether single or in a relationship. Story 96. Currently, I have feelings for a person who is not ready for a relationship, and I am tired of trying again with anyone else. Story 97. I'm not good enough to be in a relationship. My ex broke up with me because they thought I was dumb. It hurts to know that the person you cared about doesn't see any value in you and did not hesitate to hurt your feelings. I don't want to be in that position ever again. Story 98. Because I got broken badly twice in a relationship, and after having to go to therapy and facing many challenges, it has been tough keeping my heart open and risking it being broken again. So now I just live life and enjoy it as best I can. I never say never to a new girlfriend. However, I just haven't felt the right connection with anyone yet. Story 99. I miss it, but I am taking a break because all I found were people on different pages than me. I am looking for a relationship, not a one-night stand. Story 100. Well, I realized I am still in love with my ex, so until I can sort that out, I really should not be dating. Story 101. Hookup culture has negatively affected love. I want an all-consuming, everlasting love, but hookup culture has damaged it. Story 102. No one wants me. Whether it is online dating or chatting in person, I lack the social skills to garner any interest from women. I have the qualities to be a great partner to someone, but I cannot get my foot in the door. This has taken a toll on my self-esteem and confidence, which only makes me less able to communicate with others. It is a vicious cycle that I hope to truly break out of someday. Story 103. Got my heart good and broken a couple of months ago. Also came to the realization that I just don't really enjoy the process of meeting new people. I already knew the last two men I tried dating. Story 104. Everyone says love will happen when you least expect it, but I have not been expecting it in over a decade and it has not happened. At this point, I am probably just unattractive. Story 105. I have not put myself out there, and nobody has actively sought me out. It is not bad or anything, just how it is. Story 106. Women love confidence. It is the most sought-after trait in a man. I am 30 years old and have none, so as a result, I do not put myself out there. Story 107. I have no idea how to present my positive qualities and skills for other people to see, and that includes nearly everyone outside my immediate family. In the rare instances it does come out, people act very surprised. Story 108. No one approaches, so it's either I am hideous or scary. I never show interest because I think that I am not lovable. I guess it's all that. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.